Em meio à crise econômica internacional, paraísos fiscais, como a ilha de Jersey aqui, estão sob ataque feroz da comunidade internacional por suas práticas sigilosas, como esconder dinheiro sujo e permitir evasão fiscal.
Representantes dos países ricos reunidos em Paris dão o primeiro passo para acabar com a festa desses refúgios fiscais, que até agora viverão praticamente em paz com o sistema financeiro internacional.
O Sem Fronteiras quer saber qual é a participação dos paraísos fiscais na crise internacional e como seria possível contê-los.
Mar, barcos, restaurantes à beira da praia, perto do litoral francês da Normandia, embora sob proteção da coroa britânica. Quem gosta pode até dizer que isso aqui é um paraíso. De fato, a ilha de Jersey tem seus encantos. Para 750 mil visitantes por ano e 90 mil habitantes. Entre eles o ex-piloto de Fórmula 1, Nigel Mansell. Com 100 quilômetros quadrados de tamanho, é menor que a zona sul carioca, porém bem mais rica. A atração maior desta ilha não é natureza, e sim dinheiro. Não o que se gasta aqui, mas o que se refugia na ilha, em contas bancárias ou em operações financeiras internacionais estruturadas aqui. O paraíso de Jersey é fiscal. O dinheiro visita, rende e não paga aluguel. O imposto é baixo ou inexistente. Os recursos entram num dos 50 bancos da ilha, muitos deles filiais de instituições europeias ou americanas, e se instalam discretamente. Há 400 bilhões de dólares em depósito aqui e 266 bilhões investidos em fundos. As autoridades de Jersey só dão informações a países com quem assinaram acordo neste sentido. O Brasil não é um deles. Detalhes sobre uma conta aqui do ex-governador Paulo Maluf, por exemplo, não foram passadas ao Brasil, e sim a autoridades de Nova York, que o indiciaram por transferir milhões de dólares suspeitos a Jersey via bancos americanos. Maluf e seus advogados até hoje negam. Notas e moedas não precisam chegar aos bancos de Jersey fisicamente, no bolso de alguém, ou escondido na cueca, como se fosse um portador de mensalão. Entram via computador, remessas eletrônicas vindas de algum outro banco no mundo, discretamente. Os habitantes de Jersey não gostam da má fama da ilha como paraíso fiscal. Rejeitam até o termo.
Tax haven, we don't like the word. It's tax avoidance is, of course, again a word which is legit. Tax evasion is the illegal one, so we don't go into that. But tax avoidance, well, obviously, people live here because it's a low tax area. We don't like the word tax haven. Haven sounds like you don't pay it. We pay it.
We are not, as they're saying, people do not put their money in Jersey to hide it. That's not possible any longer. People who do invest here do it legitimately, and it is a tax haven. We do have people who are able to buy houses that are very expensive that the local couldn't afford, but then we have their tax. So it's helpful to us indeed.
Se o povo na rua não gosta do termo paraíso fiscal, muito menos o porta-voz das instituições financeiras de Jersey, Jeff Cook, que prefere caracterizar a ilha apenas como um local que facilita operações financeiras internacionais, oferece um clima de negócios favorável, usa gente qualificada e cobra impostos baixos.
We've worked now for over a decade trying to put some very strong legal frameworks, regulatory frameworks in place, and we signed our first information exchange agreements and became operative back in 2006 with the USA. And in 2007 we signed some more agreements with the Netherlands. 2008 I think we did Germany and the 5 Nordic countries. And this year we signed another 3 or 4 agreements, I think, with the United Kingdom, with France, and with others.
What kind of information exchange are you talking about? You provide the tax authorities of other countries with whatever they ask you?
If a country that has an agreement with us comes to us and says, look, we searched in our own country, in our home jurisdiction, we have reason to believe we don't have full disclosure from this particular client or this corporate body, it can be any type of entity. Can you tell us whether they have any arrangements in Jersey? We will investigate for them, and if we have arrangements, we will disclose them.
So what would be the advantage then of having an account here or doing business here?
Well, we compete on exactly the same basis as many other countries in the world. Around 70 countries in the world have some form of benign or friendly treatment from a taxation point of view for the international investor. The United Kingdom couldn't fund its budget deficits, nor could the United States, without international capital. So they have very either low tax or no tax for the foreign investor. We're the same, so we compete. We compete unashamedly on tax, but not on secrecy.
Big multinational companies that export, import, is there an advantage of doing business here?
We're not a trading centre, so all of our work, our import-export is financial services. It's internationally mobile capital. So we're not a trading centre in that sense. We're not a trade port. But there are advantages to international companies. If they operate cross-border multinationally in many different jurisdictions, what will happen is they will have trading companies in certain countries. They'll discharge their tax obligations on their profits in those countries. But then they might remit some of that profit to a centre like Jersey. We're kind of like a way station. We kind of hold that profit, and then they might deploy it out to another part of their international empire. And then it will be deployed as capital in that particular business. It'll generate economic activity, and it'll be taxed there as well. So what we achieve is tax neutrality. We don't apply any additional taxation over and above that which will be suffered in the country where the economic activity takes place. But we're a transiting point or a storehouse for wealth, and whilst it's here, we don't apply any additional taxation to it. So we very much oil the wheels of internationally mobile capital.
How about securitization? Is that still going on? Because that was a major activity of centres like Jersey.
It's slowed up markedly, and in fact it's almost stopped already. Not because I think there's anything wrong with it in the sense of the model. It was the way the model was deployed, I think, that ran into difficulty.
O fato é que Jersey é dos 84 centros financeiros do mundo monitorados pela OCDE, em Paris, como paraísos fiscais. Vão desde ilhotas no Pacífico, como Samoa, a outras no Caribe, como Caimã, e países como Panamá, Luxemburgo. A Suíça talvez seja o paraíso fiscal mais conhecido. É assim desde os anos 30, quando os bancos deste país neutro aceitaram esconder dos nazistas o patrimônio que judeus depositaram em Zurique ou Genebra. Só que a Segunda Guerra acabou, os nazistas se foram, mas os banqueiros suíços descobriram que o sigilo bancário atraía fundos do mundo inteiro. De milionários legítimos em fuga de impostos altos, a ditadores recheados de fortunas roubadas de populações pobres, do filipino Ferdinand Marcos ao nigeriano Sani Abacha.
Tentativas de acabar de vez com paraísos fiscais se arrastam há vários anos, sem sucesso. Alguns centros, como aqui, Jersey, se adaptam e hoje fornecem muito mais informações do que no passado. Outros ainda resistem bravamente.
Richard Murphy é um contador britânico, membro atuante da organização não governamental Rede Fiscal de Justiça, que combate há anos a atuação de paraísos fiscais. Ele tem experiência de trabalho em Jersey, discorda da visão benigna que as autoridades da ilha tentam apresentar e vê sérios danos na operação desses centros, que, segundo ele, prejudicam sobretudo países pobres, porque evitam pagamentos de impostos a governos que precisam de recursos para investir.
These places are more like hell because they are creating complete distortions in our world economy. The whole purpose of the tax havens is to destroy free access to information, to give mobile capital in large companies or for wealthy people privileges that small, independent, local companies and people don't have. So it's about shifting the balance in favor of the rich away from the local and the poor.
Brazil at the moment has its foreign trade, imports and export adding up to about $200
$250 billion a year in buying and selling. Would you say that more than half of that ends up, as you described, through this procedure in tax havens?
We know, because the OECD, who have the best statistics in the world, have told us that 60% of world trade is undertaken on an intra-group basis, inside companies rather than between companies. It's likely, as a result, that half at least of the money moving in and out of Brazil is subject to transfer pricing arrangements, all of which could be subject to some degree of scrutiny, all of which are open to abuse if the company wants to. It's a choice by the company. But if the company wants to abuse, the opportunity is there. And we've seen from some recent challenges in Brazil that some people are saying this does happen. In Brazil, the issue is with the Caribbean. There is undoubtedly a flow of funds from Brazil to the Caribbean tax havens where money is moving out of Brazil into other locations. Or money is moving out of Brazil into the Caribbean and coming straight back again, disguised as being something else. This is another aspect of the whole thing. It's called capital flight then.
But there's also the money that goes out to the Caribbean or other tax havens and it ends up in rich countries.
Well, I am quite convinced that this has been a deliberate economic policy by the USA and the UK to support the existence of tax havens because they want the money to come out of the poorer countries of the world to maintain their economies. Let's be honest, the US has got a phenomenal balance of payments deficit. The UK has run a persistent balance of payments deficit since 1996. We're always in the red. How can we support our economies? By other people giving us their money.
So the money goes out of a trade operation, goes offshore, and obviously it doesn't stay there, just sitting there. It has to be invested somewhere, and it's not invested back in the poor country where it originated. It's invested in the rich country.
There's two things that happen. If we're talking about the multinational corporations, the money does not normally go back into the local economy. The only reason why it would leave and go back is if there were incentives given under the local tax code to encourage new investment from outside the country. And we know that's common. That's why there are so many Latin American banks in the Caribbean. They are assisting the process, I'm sure, of round-tripping. The money goes to there, comes back in and gets investment incentives on its return. Inside the multinational corporations, the money goes out to the Caribbean. Let's be clear what happens in a tax haven. Nothing happens in a tax haven.
To what extent do you think this system that you described with all its faults has played a role in the current international financial crisis we're going through that is leading to banks failing, recession and all that? How do you relate the two?
They are completely and utterly interlinked with each other. We have the whole problem of the subprime crisis, the whole problem of off-balance sheet finance, the whole problem of what is called special investment vehicles, SIVs and SPVs, special purpose vehicles and so on. All of these are fundamentally secretive ways of moving money around. Off-balance sheet finance sounds remarkably like offshore finance, and they are both heavily related. Most of these off-balance sheet vehicles are located in tax havens.
Do you think there is a realistic chance of approving these measures that will require more transparency from these companies and therefore more accountability?
Yes, is my straightforward answer. I guess I wouldn't be doing what I do if I didn't believe that.